My sister is suddenly avoiding our friendly neighbors. I don't know what happened and she's not telling me the truth. My older sister and I share a small apartment in the city. We've always had a close relationship, so living together has never been a problem for us. A few months ago, a couple moved into a house right across the street. They're in their 30s, clearly well off, and have a laid-back vibe. Honestly, they're great neighbors, and to top it off, the wife is stunningly beautiful, if I can say so myself. From the beginning, they were incredibly friendly. After a few casual interactions, they started inviting us over for lunch. These visits turned out to be a blast every time. My sister, in particular, seemed to enjoy their company even more than I did. She confessed to me once that she had a slight crush on the husband. She also bonded with the wife and often chatted with her both in person and through text. It felt like they were more than just neighbors, they were becoming friends. But about 2 weeks ago, things took an odd turn. My sister's behavior shifted unexpectedly. Whenever I mentioned the couple, she seemed awkward and embarrassed, her face flushing red like she was hiding something. I noticed she'd started finding excuses not to go over when they invited us. Normally, she'd be the first one to suggest a visit, but now she was actively avoiding it. At first, I didn't think much of it. I assumed she was just busy or maybe feeling under the weather. But when the pattern continued, I couldn't ignore it. A few days ago, the couple invited us to watch a game at their place. That kind of thing was something we'd always done together. This time, though, my sister flat out refused. She insisted on staying home and watching it alone instead. I decided I couldn't let this slide anymore. I sat her down and asked her point blank what was going on. I wanted to know if something had happened. Did they say something hurtful? Was there an argument or misunderstanding? But all she gave me were vague responses like, "It's nothing important," or "Don't worry about it." Her reluctance to talk only made me more concerned, but I didn't want to push her too hard, so I let it go for the moment. Still, her behavior has been eating away at me. Even the couple has noticed something's off. The last time I visited them alone, they both asked me if my sister was okay. I assured them that she was fine, but their worried expressions suggested they didn't entirely believe me. Here's the thing, my sister and I have always been close. She's the one I turn to for advice when I'm dealing with personal issues, and she's great at helping me work through them. But the dynamic has never been the same the other way around. She rarely opens up to me about what's bothering her. I can't help but feel that something significant must have happened between her and the couple. I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, an awkward encounter, or something deeper, but her sudden change in behavior has me worried. Now I'm left wondering how I should approach her. I want her to know that she can talk to me if she's going through something, but I also don't want to come across as prying or pushy. What's the best way to handle this? Should I give her space or try to gently coax the truth out of her? At first, I thought my sister's strange behavior might have been due to something minor and embarrassing, like an unfortunate incident in their bathroom or some awkward slip-up during a conversation. Honestly, I wasn't prepared for what I eventually found out. Many of you suggested she might have been propositioned for a threesome, and, well, you were sort of right, but the situation is even messier than that. Today, we were walking home together, and after gently prodding her with questions, she finally let the truth spill out. It all started when she was texting the wife. They'd been chatting casually about relationships, intimacy, and similar topics. Out of nowhere, the wife started talking about this hot guy she and her husband had done some sexual stuff with in the past. Then, without skipping a beat, the wife asked my sister if she'd be interested in joining them for a foursome. If that wasn't shocking enough, the wife even sent pictures of the guy to my sister. And here's the kicker. When my sister saw the photos, she immediately recognized him. The guy turned out to be her college professor. Yes, you read that right. Her former professor who had taught her last semester and even supervised her final project. Understandably, this revelation hit her like a ton of bricks. She described the whole thing as kinda messed up, but didn't go into too much detail about what exactly they had proposed. I could tell she was incredibly uncomfortable just talking about it, so I didn't press her for specifics. The whole situation left her feeling awkward and disoriented for multiple reasons. For one, she's a pretty innocent and reserved person who definitely wasn't prepared for a proposition like that. The idea of being involved in something so unconventional was completely out of her comfort zone. Secondly, discovering this side of her professor threw her for a loop. She said she couldn't even look at him the same way anymore, and honestly, I can't blame her. Now that I know the truth, her sudden change in behavior makes perfect sense. The awkwardness, the avoidance, it was all because she felt overwhelmed and didn't know how to process what had happened. The good news is that she's starting to move past the initial shock. She even spoke to the wife yesterday, although she didn't tell me much about what they talked about. I guess she's trying to handle it in her own way, which I respect. It's wild to think how much drama can come out of a seemingly friendly relationship with the neighbors. I'm just glad my sister felt comfortable enough to finally open up to me about it. Here's hoping things settle down from here and she can move on without too much lingering discomfort. Now on to the next story. My family loves my ex and keeps inviting her to family gatherings. My ex and I were together for 5 years. Throughout our relationship, my family completely adored her. It was practically an unspoken assumption that we'd get married someday. But about a year ago, out of the blue, she ended things with me. Her reason? She said I wasn't man enough for her. Harsh, right? That breakup shattered me, and I spent months in therapy trying to piece myself back together. Eventually, I managed to move on and started seeing someone new. During my post-breakup therapy phase, my family continued to invite my ex to family events. At the time, they asked if I was okay with it, and since I still had feelings for her and secretly hoped we'd reconcile, I said yes. But once I started dating someone new and she attended what I thought would be her last family event, I assumed we were finally moving past this awkward chapter. Apparently not. Just today, I found out my family invited my ex to both Thanksgiving and Christmas. At first, I laughed, thinking it had to be some kind of cruel joke. But no, they genuinely want her there. They love having her around, claiming she's practically family at this point. I was furious and put my foot down. I told them very clearly that if she's invited, I wouldn't attend either holiday gathering. I also reminded them that my therapist said allowing her to be part of these events was unhealthy for me and a blatant violation of my boundaries. But guess what? My family doesn't care. Their argument is that my ex doesn't have much family of her own and that they feel responsible for including her. My mom and grandmother even went as far as to suggest I should treat her as just another friend, insisting that I need to grow up. Meanwhile, my current girlfriend is absolutely livid, and rightfully so. She's hurt and angry that my family refuses to consider her feelings, or mine, for that matter. This entire situation feels like betrayal on so many levels. So now I'm stuck. My family seems determined to make this happen, and I don't know how to handle it without making everything worse. First off, thank you to everyone who took the time to share advice and reassurance. Reading through your comments helped me realize I wasn't crazy for thinking this was wrong. After a lot of thought and a push from you all, I decided to man up, as my family likes to put it, but not in the way they meant. I've officially told them that my girlfriend and I will not be attending Thanksgiving or Christmas if my ex is invited. Of course, my family wasn't happy about it. They accused me of being immature and running away from the situation. My mom even called me a coward for hiding from my ex. But you know what? I don't care. Their behavior is enabling a toxic environment for me and disrespecting my current relationship, and I'm done letting it slide. Instead of spending the holidays feeling uncomfortable and second to my ex, I'm planning something special for my girlfriend and me. For Thanksgiving, I'm taking her somewhere nice where we can actually enjoy ourselves. And for Christmas, I'm looking into buying plane tickets so we can visit her family and celebrate with people who truly care about us as a couple. I know standing up to my family like this might cause some long-term tension, but I've realized my well-being and my girlfriend's happiness matter more than keeping the peace. I'll keep you updated if anything else unfolds, but for now, this feels like the right step forward. Hey, everyone. First, I want to thank all of you who offered advice and kind words on my last post. I really appreciated the support and the perspectives you shared. Unfortunately, I don't have a good update to give you. Things have taken a turn for the worse. After reflecting on everything, I decided to send a mass text to my family. I poured my feelings out as honestly as I could. I told them that inviting my ex to Thanksgiving or Christmas was deeply disrespectful to me. I made it clear that I wasn't willing to compromise on this. It was a simple request that I expected them to honor. I even went as far as to tell them they had to choose between her and me. I knew it was a strong stance, but I felt like I had no other option. Separately, I also texted my ex to let her know that she wasn't welcome at these family gatherings anymore. I explained that I didn't care if my family had invited her, it was inappropriate for her to attend. Initially, I got a small glimmer of support when my cousin messaged me privately, agreeing with my position. That felt nice for a moment. But the rest of my family? They didn't see it the same way. Responses started rolling in, and they weren't kind. They accused me of being selfish and inconsiderate. They pointed out that my ex didn't have much family of her own and claimed that she had become an integral part of ours. When I tried to argue that it was bizarre and hurtful to invite someone's ex to family holidays, they just doubled down. My dad's response hit particularly hard. He called me immature, saying I was acting like a child by issuing ultimatums. To make matters worse, his message got a lot of iMessage likes in the group chat, which felt like my whole family ganging up on me. As for my ex, she didn't hold back. She called me a F******** baby, claiming this whole ordeal was exactly why she broke up with me in the first place. She said I was incapable of handling confrontation and was running away with my new girlfriend. I told her this dynamic with my family wasn't normal and that she needed to stop trying to steal them from me. Her only response was that it wasn't her fault, my family loved her, and then she stopped replying altogether. Over the weekend, the arguments with my family continued, but it was clear I was getting nowhere. My mom called me to explain how much my ex meant to her, saying she was like a daughter. When I asked if she had any sympathy for me, considering the brutal way my ex ended things, her response broke me. She said my actions were proving my ex right, implying I wasn't man enough after all. Realizing I couldn't keep fighting this losing battle, I decided to follow through on my plan to spend Thanksgiving away. I booked a short trip and planned a nice dinner for my girlfriend and me. She seemed excited about it at first, and for a moment, I thought things were looking up. But yesterday, she asked me to come over to talk. She told me that the ongoing drama with my family and my ex made her feel extremely uncomfortable. She felt like she was caught in the middle of a battle that she wanted no part of. She said I was a sweet guy, but she couldn't stay in a relationship with someone dealing with this level of family conflict. I begged her to reconsider. I pleaded with her, trying to explain that I was working on setting boundaries and growing through this. But she had already made up her mind. She asked me to respect her decision, and I had no choice but to let her go. Now, I'm sitting here feeling like a complete failure. I couldn't set boundaries with my family. I lost my girlfriend, and I'm left wondering how I managed to let it all spiral out of control. I've decided to take the trip by myself. Maybe some time alone will help me figure things out. Right now, I'm not looking for advice, a place to spend Thanksgiving, or even words of encouragement. I just need to be by myself and figure out how to move forward. Thank you to everyone who tried to help me. Clearly, I have a lot of work to do on myself.